Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Dark Neuron. Today we have got something exciting for you. So let's dive right in.
The first person who noticed it thought he was just tired. That's how stories like this always begin. With something small enough to ignore, a man named Daniel Reeves lived alone in a quiet apartment complex where nothing unusual ever happened. He worked night shifts repairing security systems, slept during the day, and avoided most human interaction. Routine was his protection from chaos. Every morning he returned home, brushed his teeth, glanced into the bathroom mirror, and went to bed, until one morning the mirror glanced back differently. He didn't notice it immediately, not consciously. Just a strange hesitation, a feeling that his reflection reacted a fraction of a second too late, like poor internet lag during a video call. Daniel blinked. His reflection blinked too. Normal. He leaned closer. So did it. Still normal, but something deep inside him whispered that the timing wasn't right. He laughed it off. Sleep deprivation. Night workers often experienced visual distortions. The brain, desperate for rest, invented patterns where none existed. Science explained everything. Or at least that's what Daniel believed. The next night, it happened again. After another exhausting shift, he entered the bathroom, switched on the light, and froze. His reflection was already looking at him, not turning toward him, not adjusting naturally, just waiting. Daniel stepped back instantly, heart pounding. The movement corrected itself. The reflection now mirrored him perfectly. Same fear, same posture, same confusion. He stared for nearly a minute before forcing himself to breathe normally. Mirrors don't malfunction, he told himself. They don't think. But that night he covered it with a towel before sleeping, and that was his first mistake. At 3:12 a.m., Daniel woke to the sound of fabric sliding across tile. The towel had fallen. He sat upright in bed, staring into the dark hallway where faint bathroom light spilled outward. He didn't remember turning that light on. Slowly, reluctantly, he walked toward it. The mirror stood uncovered, and his reflection wasn't copying him. It was smiling, not widely, not monstrously, just a subtle, knowing smile that Daniel himself was not making. Human instinct recognizes danger before logic can intervene. Every nerve in his body screamed to run, yet he couldn't move. His reflection tilted its head slightly, studying him the way a person examines something curious behind glass. Then perfect synchronization returned. The smile vanished. Now it matched him again. Daniel smashed the mirror that morning. Glass shattered across the sink and floor, fragments scattering like frozen water. Relief flooded him instantly. Problem solved. No mirror, no reflection. Except reflections don't belong only to mirrors. Later that evening, while washing dishes, he noticed movement in the dark window above the sink. His reflection stood behind him, closer than he actually was. Daniel spun around. Nothing. When he turned back, the reflection corrected itself again. That's when fear turned into obsession. He researched psychological disorders, visual hallucinations, Capgras syndrome, mirror self-misidentification. Every explanation comforted him for about 5 minutes before reality broke it again, because hallucinations don't follow rules. This thing did. It only appeared in reflections, glass, screens, polished metal. Even the black surface of his turned-off television, and each time it learned, its expressions became more independent. Its eyes lingered longer. Once, while Daniel stood perfectly still, he watched his reflection slowly raise its hand half an inch higher than his own, testing boundaries, like something discovering control. Sleep became impossible. Daniel removed every reflective surface in his apartment, covered windows, turned screens toward walls, avoided eye contact with anything capable of showing his image. For 2 days, the world felt safe again, until he walked past a parked car on the street. The curved chrome door reflected him clearly, and the reflection mouthed words. Daniel didn't hear sound, but he read the lips unmistakably. Almost that single word destroyed him. He stopped going to work, stopped answering calls. His neighbors later reported hearing conversations through his walls, Daniel arguing with someone who wasn't there, or maybe wasn't here, because reflections occupy a strange philosophical space. They look identical, yet exist reversed, a perfect imitation trapped behind invisible geometry. Some physicists once joked about mirror universes' realities flipped across unseen dimensions. Daniel began to believe the joke wasn't a joke. What if reflections weren't copies? What if they were observers? And what if something on the other side finally figured out how to cross? The final recorded event came from building security footage. At 2:47 a.m., Daniel stood in the apartment hallway mirror near the elevator, calm, still, almost peaceful. He raised his hand slowly. The reflection didn't follow. Instead, it lifted its hand first. Witnesses later described Daniel stepping forward willingly, placing his palm against the glass. For exactly 6 seconds, nothing happened. Then the camera distorted with static. When the image cleared, Daniel was gone. No shattered mirror, no signs of struggle, no exit recorded. Only fingerprints remained on the surface from the inside. Police ruled it a disappearance, mental breakdown, possible escape. But the next tenant reported something unusual within weeks of moving in. A bathroom mirror already installed in the apartment. Sometimes late at night, while brushing her teeth, she notices her reflection watching her. Before she moves, waiting, learning. Scientists say mirrors simply reflect light, nothing more, no memory, no awareness. Yet cultures across history share the same warning: cover mirrors after death, avoid staring too long, never sleep facing one. Ancient superstition often survives because someone somewhere learned the rule the hard way. And maybe Daniel Reeves discovered something humanity was never meant to confirm. Maybe reflections are patient. Maybe they practice our expressions, study our habits, memorize our movements, waiting for the moment synchronization finally breaks. So tonight, when you walk past a dark window or glance into your phone screen after turning it off, pay attention, make a sudden movement, blink unexpectedly, look twice, because if your reflection ever reacts before you do, it may already be your turn to switch places.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. See you in the next one.